untap, upkeep, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. And if you haven't, please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show for you today. So, for today, I'm going to continue doing a dive into the new Tarkir Dragonstorm set. And we are going to look at none other than the other Ureni, Mom Spaghetti. And kind of see like a more budget friendly version. If I remember correctly, pardon me, everything but the commander and like your staple, soul ring, swiftfoot boots. I think that's everything that should be $1 or less, minus 3 cards. I didn't even cheat this time, I don't believe, and include cards from the pre-con because that is straight up cheating. But I think I was good. I think that was nice. I don't think I did it this time. So let's dive in and see what in the world did I come up with this time, shall we? So we're going to look at the other Ureni, Mom Spaghetti. This is the one you get from the actual set. So if I'm ready, that means, are you ready? I know, it was horrible. Haha, I'm so funny. But this is Ureni, the song Unending. First of all, love this artwork. The artwork for this version of Ureni is just so amazing. I'm out to try and get one. I ain't got one yet, but it looks amazing. Anyways, I digress. So, for one more mana, we get a bigger Ureni, and my god, is this Ureni bigger, as a 10/10 Spirit Dragon with flying, protection from white, and protection from black. Now, if you don't know what protection does, let's say you are a new player and you have found this channel. First of all, welcome. Second of all, go away, reminder, we don't need you. Third of all, I will explain to you. Protection simply means, in this particular situation, you won't be able to target Ureni with anything that is white and or black. You can't block Ureni with anything that is white or black. And it cannot be dealt damage by anything that's white or black. There's one more part to the protection that there's a little antidote and anagrams. I forget what the actual word is called. But there's literally like a really simple breakdown of it. Simply put, you can't touch Ureni with anything that's white or black. I can block anything that you have that is white or black. You're never going to deal damage to it. It has protection from the damage, protection from anything that has those colors. You're not going to touch Ureni. That alone makes Ureni terrifying, in my opinion. It's a flying 10/10 for God's sakes, and you're not able to you can't Doomblade her, you can't go for the throat, you can't swords, you can't path, you can't do any of your normal kill spells because she just straight up says no. Just a simple no. And it's a 10/10, everybody. A 10/10. You're not targeting her with any kind of ability, any kind of spell, any kind of anything that is white or black. You're not touching her. And that would be enough, but no. This is Magic 2025, and we've got to push the envelope. Boy, did we. So, her other ability says, when Ureni enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. She's a board wipe on a stick as well as a beat stick. What in the world were Wizards thinking? I mean, as a dragon lover, of course I'm happy with it, but oh my god, really? So now we know what Ureni wants. Let's take a look and see if we can give Ureni what she wants. So first up, we have some of your usual suspects you're going to see in a green X, or in this case, green XX deck, with Arbor Elf, the Elvish Mystic, the Llanowar Elves, even Sakura Tribe Elder, better known as Steve. And we even threw in the Skeleton Nurturer because our commander is a big, dumb, flying dragon. And if we use the Nurturer to cast our big set dragon, we're going to gain 2 life, and we like that a lot. So now we kind of touched base a little bit on our ramp a little bit. So let's kind of dive into what else we have here. I have Archwing Dragon in this deck. It has Flying Haste, and you have to bounce it back to your hand at the end step. Now, normally that is a major downside, but I'm going to show you later on in the enchantment section, spoiler alert, on why that's actually not that big of a downside in this particular build. We, of course, are running a Tarkar World Runner because our commander is already a monstrous 10/10. Etsushi, the Blazing Sky, just because it's a nice cheap dragon. It can block for us. Avenger of Zendikar, we are essentially a lands deck, so we're hoping to get a bunch of land out. We're hoping to keep dumping land out, and we're just going to hopefully either A, make an army of plants, or B, they're going to get really, really big. A Bloom Vine Regent, I absolutely am amazed and in love with this card. I'm surprised it's not seeing more play, and in fact, I'm glad it's not. I'll take all the copies. Just pass them over here. Pass them over here. I'll take them. I'm okay with this. So you can pay 2 and a green to cast it for its Omen sorcery ability. And after you've cast an Omen, it will go back into the deck, and we have a chance to do this again. And it essentially acts like a Cultivate. You're able to search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put one of them onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into your hand, and then shuffle. And this goes back in. The other thing about this dragon is whenever this or another dragon you control enters, you get to gain 3 life. So we love that capability of this dragon, and I really think it needs to see more play than it actually is, and I'm okay that it's not. It's going to serve a purpose, I promise it is. We already talked about Llanowar Elves. We also have the Hammerhead Tyrant, again, another dragon from the set. Absolute banger. Absolutely love this. It's in the original Ureni Precon, and I'm personally hoping to get a few more copies of this particular card. It says whenever you cast a spell, return up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that spell's mana value to its owner's hand. It's a 6/6 flying, 6 mana blue dragon that bounces things back to everybody's hand. I've got the chance to use this in a game, and it was hilarious. Well, for me it was, at least. I was playing Big Dumb Dragons and other spells, and bounce that, bounce that, bounce that, bounce that. Yeah, that's getting scary. Yeah, don't care about that one. It was hilarious, in my opinion, but then again, I was the one doing it, so yeah, go figure. Next up, we have the Glory Bringer, another dragon. We're not very dragon-centric or very dragon-heavy, but I had to add few because of what we have later on in the deck. We have the Glory Bringer. He comes in the Precon, Flying Haste 4/4 for 5 mana, and we can exert him and blow up something if we really need to, as long as it's not a dragon. It's a clause people tend to overlook. I've seen it happen. It's really in here just because it's a cheap dragon, and we can get some value off of him, especially money-wise. It's a pretty cheap dragon. I mean, he's down to 25 cents basically. Love it. Rogue's Pack Leader. We're playing some big dumb idiots, so we want to be able to draw some cards when they come into play, including our commander. Ewit allows us to buy back something that's been blown up, so our Avenger of Zendikar is probably going to be a big target. We want to be able to get it back and do some more shenanigans. We already talked about the Elvish Mystic. Magnetic Hellkite, something that is starting to see a lot more play. When it enters, destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. They get to find a basic land to replace it. It has a stun counter on it, so it's still land denial. And it could very well come in handy. It's definitely one of those dragons, like, if you don't have to play it early in the game, I would advise just kind of hold on to it for as long as you believe as possible, but don't put yourself in a bind. If you need a body or if you need to trigger something, go ahead and play this dragon and hopefully pick a good target. And if you're wondering what I'm meaning, then go watch my other video about spooky lands and Commander. There's a lot of lands out there that are way scary, and if you've never seen them, count yourself lucky. I have seen all, or if not all, most of everything I talk about in that video. And I'm here to tell you, just look up the Tabernacle of Pendra Vale, and you will understand my terror. Evil Neil, I'm talking to you, sir. Then we have Mila and Den Wildborn. They give us an additional land on each of our turns, and we can even bounce a land back to our hand to give something trample. We could do that at instant speed, so that's always nice. Nimberclaw Adept allows us to untap 2 other target permanents. We can only do it as a sorcery, and only once each turn. That is kind of a downside, but we're trying to ramp to an 8 mana 10/10 dragon. So we have a lot of reasoning behind actually wanting this. Rampaging Baloths, it's just a standard landfall. Land ETBs make a big dumb idiot. We talked about Steve. We talked about Skilled Nurturer. Another one from the set, Whirlwing Stormbrood. I thought this would be good to have in here. Yeah, it can make our sorceries and dragon spells cast as though they had flash. We're not really running it in here for that. We're running it in here because, 1, it is a dragon, and 2, we can put 3 1/1 counters on our commander, and with a Tarko out, that's an instant KO. I thought it'd be great to live in Magical Crystal Land and hopefully get that off. Don't know how often it could happen, but it could. Thunderbreak Regent makes it so if our opponents are going to target our dragons, it will cost them 3 life. This guy is going to spike in price. I'm calling it now. It won't get, $20, $30, $40, probably nothing like that, but it might reach the $5 or $10 mark as more and more people are starting to see how good this actually is. Because I think people originally are reading the Temur Battle Crier and not really valuing the card for as good as it is. So let me read it to you, because I did a very similar thing. I am not going to kid or joke or lie about it. When I first read Toski, the Bearer of Secrets, I thought when he dealt the combat damage, you get to draw a card. Then I had to reread it because his price step, kept going up and up and up and up. He's indestructible, but he has to attack every turn. And, unless you build around that, he's not really going to draw you a card. No. Toski says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, draw a card. And I went, oh my, I've read this card wrong. I'm so good at Magic, let me tell you. So this is the Temur Battle Crier. I actually threw this in one of my decks. I can't remember if it's Ureni or if it's Miram. I think it's Miram. I'm trying this out in my Miram deck because I pulled one and it's beautiful in foil, by the way. And it's a 4/3 with a mana cost of Temur, so 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green. It says during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Everybody, guys, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-binary folk, I don't really know, or honestly, I don't really care what you prefer to be called. I will call you whatever you prefer. This thing lowers the mana cost of every spell on our turn. For everything we have, that's a big old monstrous boy. Oh my goodness, y'all. This means if this comes out later in the game and we've got several tokens from like Rampaging Baloth, or we've got enough dragons out, we could start going bananas if we have our game set up and we survive this long. Personally, this guy is the number 1 card I would bring back from Eternal Witness's ability because it is that good. Think about this. That makes our commander, if this came out turn 3 on curve, let's say turn 3, that means our commander just dropped from being 8 mana down to 7. Now let's say we've dropped, I don't know, it's Sushi. Now we're down to 6. Y'all can see where this goes. Because it not only does it lower our commander, it lowers all the others too. That means as long as we have the color pips, we can start hammering out some damage and we can start getting really scary really fast. I love this card and I need more copies of it. It is amazing. I don't know why I really need more copies of it. I don't have that many Temur decks, but I will find a way, dadgummit. Next up, we also are a very land-centric deck, so of course, Tatiova, Benefit Druid, or Tatimama had to be in this deck. So whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to gain a life and draw a card. Ironically enough, that life gain might be something we need. People are going to see Ureni and go, uh-oh, because I'm trying to clear your battlefield. I don't want you to have any planeswalkers. I don't want you to have any creatures. I want them all dead so that my army of bigger creatures can come in and finish you off. Of course, I added in the sad robot to just kind of go with our overall theme here. I wish we could target it, but we can't with Uranium, but that's okay. We have other things we can do with it. I mean, we'll just turn it sideways. Either take 2 damage or give me your card. I mean, take your pick. Heck, we might even play Whirling Stormblood on it and make it a 5/5 that makes you go, wait, what? Yeah, let's get stupid. Let's get stupid. So let's get to our sorceries. We're not running that many sorceries, but they are predominantly our game plan. We've got Cultivate, Explore, Farseek, Rampant Growth. They all do something with lands. Explore draws us a card. Preordain allows us to scry 2 and then draw a card. Rich Cards Expertise. Pretty simple. We draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures we control, which is, if our commander's out, a whopping 10 cards in our hand. And then we can play something from our hand with a mana value 5 or less without paying its mana cost. So, you know, we can drop the Teamer Battle Crier and just be all giggly and happy and warm and fuzzy. Let's go to our instant package, and this is where things get a little tricky and a little bit interesting. So we do run Harrow and Growth Spiral for some more land drop capabilities. Then we're running like Chaos Warp, Beast Within, Reality Shift, Negate, and a Rapid Hybridization to kind of deal with the problematic things on our opponent's battlefield. We have Opt, Think Twice to be able to draw some more cards, as well as Return of the Wild Speaker. We can draw a whopping 10 cards minimum with our commander. They were running some interesting ways to not only protect our commander, but like reset the board if we need to, with Ghostly Flicker, Blur, and the Essence Flux. All 3 of them allow us to basically blink our commander, which if you're a new player, blink is simply, it bounces out of the battlefield for like half a second and comes immediately right back. So it doesn't necessarily save it from like board wipes, but it could help like finish off like a planeswalker or something that would survive a blasphemous act or something like that. Which, by the way, that's really hard to do because Blast Act deals 13 damage to everything. Excuse me. So that could be something we have to do. Or, you know, maybe somebody swinging in with a whole bunch of creatures from a Jetmir deck they weren't expecting us to blink an Essence Flux, kill Jetmir and a couple other things, and now we're not so worried about the damage that you're trying to do because they don't exist. Yeah. If you happen to be watching the video, I hope you are, and I hope you've made it this far into the video. Comet Storm. Let's talk. Comet Storm isn't here because in the side, well, I guess you would call it the possible upgrades for the deck, they have a really nasty set of sideboard cards, basically, or considering board, that this thing can just go ham. We also like this in here because we're able to make so much mana by all the ramp that we have that hopefully we can take very, very big advantage of those. So we can multi-kick it for 1, so we could pay like X is going to be 5, and then we could pay red, so a total of 7 mana. And then we could pay like, I don't know, 3 more mana, and we're able to kick it 3 times. So then we're able to do like 5, 10, 15 points of damage to things that we're trying to DB out. We could either do like 15 to somebody's face, or we could do like 5 here, 5 there, and 5 there. I mean, we could do a lot of tricksy things. It's kind of our surprise finisher of the deck after we've, you know, beat you to death with all of these big dumb idiots. We're hopefully able to just finish you off with a gigantic meteor shower of a fireball and just laugh like evil geniuses. I don't know how often it'll work in the budget build, and this is the only card outside of like a a Soul Ring, and like a Swiftfoot Boots, I believe. That is just a smidge over $1. It's too good of a card not to just fudge a little bit and get into here. So, I'm sorry, but it's just that good. It's worth the 3 cents. And odds are you actually probably already have one of these. You just don't know that you do. We'll move on to our artifact package, which is, pretty standard. We got the Soul Ring, the boots, we're running Signet, Talisman, Wayfarer's Bauble, just because, a Prismatic Lens, a Mind Stone, a Felwar Stone, and a Commander's Sphere. Nothing too fancy, nothing special to see here. We're not doing anything interesting. So, let's move on to the secret weapon of the deck, if you will. The enchantments. So you wanted to know why we've got so many dragons. It's because of the Dragonstorm cards. If you guessed it, 5 points to you, sir, or ma'am, or non-binary, or whatever you prefer to be called. Whatever. The case is, we are trying to manipulate and maximize our Dragonstorm cards. Like the blue one, allowing us to ETB, draw 2, and discard a card. If we have a dragon enter, we get to bounce it back. So it's a very good source of card draw. I mean, our commander is a dragon, so if nothing else, we might get 2 shots at this. The encroaching Dragonstorm is one of the bigger ones in this deck. We're able to just start ramping like a train, hopefully, and keep this ball just a-rolling. And it's really nice in this deck. So now you can see why I have some of the dragons that are a little bit cheaper. Like, they're not like anything special. Like, they're not like Scourge of Valkus or anything, which could put in here anyway. It's over $1. But, they're enabling us to bounce these back to our hands and get more value out of them. I mean, even a skilled nurturer allows us to get more value out of this. So, I mean, it's not that bad. Reaching Dragonstorm, I'm trying this in a couple of different lists, actually, to see how much I actually enjoy this. So, when this enchantment enters, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if its mana value is 8 or less. But if you don't, then we just get to put it in our hand. And of course, it has the Dragonstorm clause where if a dragon enters, you bounce it back to hand. So we have some good utility uses for these dragons. There was a purpose. They weren't just there because they're dragons. We're trying to get, some utility out of these, but not, be like, oh, look, Team of Dragons, another Team of Dragon deck. But they want to do that. So I'm just kind of splashing some dragons to help get some value. Rurik's Uprising is another pretty good value piece. When it enters, if we have something power 4 or bigger, we draw a card. All our creatures gain trample, which is really nice with a 10-10 beat stick. We don't want somebody to be able to just throw a Thopter or something in the way and go, haha, 10 damage my butt. Now it's trample damage, so you better throw some other blockers up, big boy. And also, whenever another creature power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under our control, we're able to draw a card. Love that for us. That means every time we're triggering landfall with our Baloth, we're able to draw cards, and, well, that makes us happy. Finally, we are running Warstorm Surge. Between the Baloth and the other big things we have in this deck, this thing could start dealing some serious damage to whatever target we need it to, probably an opponent's face. I mean, think about this. If we played Ureni after this has been out, because this is 6 mana, it should come out before Ureni if we plan everything right. If it lives, we play Ureni, somebody gets domed for 10. And then we could blink her at least 3 times and finish somebody off if we had enough mana in Magical Christmas Land. So, it's definitely something that could do some work in this deck. So I thought I would try it out in here and see how well it actually does. And, I mean, if you don't like it, we'll just swap it out for something else. I mean, there's a couple of different things I could think of we could put in here. Man, all that talking makes your throat and everything dry. Our land package, we're up a little bit from even the standard that I hold. We're up to 39. We're not too land crazy here because I don't want to just be completely flooded. We're mainly basics because we have a lot of different ways to go find basics. We're running a lot of your typical, I guess you could say budget-friendly dual lands. You're more than welcome to just kind of look at the screen and see what all we got here. Some of the lands I have taken straight from the pre-con, so they're not that expensive. I mean, they're gonna start coming way down as we go further and further into the weeks and maybe even months by the time this is up and on the air. Nothing really out of the ordinary. I mean, Bonder's Enclave, I mean, it's self-explanatory. We're able to draw a card if you have something powerful or bigger. Hello, a Commander's 10 power. And Field of Ruin, just another backup way to deal with a problematic land. I always add something like that to every deck because it is necessary. Let's scroll down a little bit and let's look. Our mana curve is not that horrendous, actually. We've got a really high 2 count, and then as you can see, we gradually come down after that, and I think it's pretty okay for a curve. If you did notice, by the way, we're not really running a board wipe because Ureni is the board wipe for the most part. It's a little tricky. We're a little bit weak in that department. I could have added, like Azuri's Predation and a Blast Act or something like that, but I don't know. I don't think we're really going to need it just because, excuse me, Ureni does it so well. So I didn't really feel a need to add it, but I mean, to each their own. You can see some of our sample hands here. We're not doing bad at all, I don't think. I think that's a pretty reasonable keep hand. We're able to ramp like a train. Oh yeah, we would have not had a whole lot of interaction, but we definitely could have ramped pretty hard to get our commander out. So let's look at our considering and see just how wacky and dumb I can actually get this. So the biggest thing that I think Ureni would absolutely go gaga over is Ashiya's Soul of the Wild. Her power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands we control, so she kind of goes in with our pretty land-centric theme, but most importantly, non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their land types, and they're still affected by summoning sickness, so that's kind of a given. But this means like our board of actual bodies, including dorks and stuff like that, now become very scary threats with Ureni. Now Ureni can come out and just steamroll somebody. Their whole board could be gone if we play it at the right time. So I think she's a very secret, hidden powerhouse in this deck, and they're actually best friends. They're best as the best friends, I think. Of course, Birds of Paradise, I mean, anything that's X green is just going to love the birds. I mean, you get to tap it to add 1 mana of any color. It's a flying blocker at the worst case scenario. Seems good. Heroic Intervention, just another way to protect our battlefield. Not really a necessity. I do have Temur Ascendancy, Rhythm of the Wild. So, Ascendancy and Rhythm both can give haste. Rhythm says our creature spells cannot be countered. Ascendancy allows us to draw cards. It is a may. It's not a have to. It is a may if something power 4 or bigger enters our battlefield under the control. So it is important to point out that it is a may trigger, so you don't think you have to basically deck yourself. Get out of here, reminder. Nobody wants you right now. The nerve of this computer. It's diabolical. So the Ascendancy, even though it was reprinted in the Ureni Commander Precon, is still pretty pricey at about almost $4. So for my personal challenge and budget restriction, I chose to leave it out. But it is a wonderful slam dunk upgrade for the deck if you feel like you need some more oomph out of the deck. Especially because it gives haste. I mean, that just seems like, good. Finally, there is Dragonback Assault. I'm hoping this card drops more in price so I can pick up more copies. I love this card. So for 3 and Temur, you get this enchantment that says when it enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Cool, so it's a Temur board wipe is what you're getting. Kind of. But it gets better for you and worse for your opponents in just a minute. It also has landfall. So it says, whenever a land you control enters, make a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, that means it goes great with our synergy of our deck of being able to make land drops, and then we're just going to make big dumb dragons and just hurt you really, really bad in skies. Hashtag sorry but not. And I can't wait for this to keep dropping in price. By the way, I love that artwork. That artwork is so gorgeous. Oh, it is so gorgeous. Then we have some pretty basic land upgrades for the deck. Really, swap out some of your tap lands or your not so great filter or dual lands for some of these lands. You know, your typical shock lands from Ravnica, Stomping Grounds, Steam Vents, Breeding Pool. You got your Surveil lands in here because they're standardly good. The Triumph and a couple of the Battle Bond lands. They all together round out to make the mana base just a little bit more balanced and a little bit better. They're not necessarily like a have to for the deck, but they very well could help out a little bit. But this has been Ureni, the Song Unending, where everything but minus a couple of cards is $1 or less at the time of build for this deck, and I'm curious to know, what do you think of Ureni, Mom Spaghetti? Because I think this has a lot of potential. I know, we've got a lot of Teamer land centric things, and probably the best Teamer land guy is the Almanath, Locust of the Royal, I believe is his name. And that's great. It's a powerful deck, and it's gonna be a little bit faster because the mana to play that commander is only 4 versus 8. I still think Ureni has a lot of potential though, and I'm very curious to see just how far Ureni goes. The internet was buzzing with this thing at pre-release. Some people were building around her in standard on Arena and doing very good stupid shenanigans with her. So, maybe she's got potential. I'm just kind of curious to hear and see, what do you think? Do you think Ureni, this version of Ureni, is going to be, kind of close to the Precon? I mean, the Precon's a different animal, everybody. Like, it is wild. But I think this is going to be a pretty close contender, honestly. Like, I truly feel it is. But, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. What do you think is going to be a pretty good competitive version of this build? And if you took this and ran wild with it, what changes would you make? What do you think would make Ureni, a Song Unending, just ridiculous, more than it already probably is? I've been the Buddha Dragon. I'm gonna tell you, you can take on the like button. It's just a 1/1 creature. You could take on the subscribe button. It too is a 1/1 creature, and I know you have first strike. Lastly, I know you want to leave me some comments, and I know you want to ring that bell. Both of them are 0/1 plant tokens and have nothing against your fire breathing. So, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Stay in touch with me, and if you have a deck idea, you want me to try and build something, post it. Comment. Let's see what we could do. I still have other things I'm trying to work on to get better for the channel. Those are slowly in the works, so maybe we'll see some of them as the time goes on. But remember, the Buddha Dragon always says to rub that belly for mana, and may your games be filled with luck. I'll catch you in the next game. Don't forget, the link to this deck will be in the description below. And check out another video. Show me some love.